Hello YouTubers, I am finally back with part 2 of my 100 Strangers project kind of walkthrough of some selected photos. So I have showed you all of the photos here and here. So we're going to start here to continue. Now these photos, I'm not claiming they're the world's greatest portraits or anything like that. These are just the ones that I liked from my project. And I'll just share some of my commentary on the subject or how the photo turned out or whatever as the mood strikes. It's unpracticed. So here we go. The first one is the first color shot in the whole series that I'm showing you guys anyway. I don't shoot color all that often, so here we go. This is Tiffany, and I saw her in downtown Littleton with a friend, and she sort of chatted me up as I walked by, and I think she said something like, "Hey, what you taking pictures of?" And I said, "Well, you next." And so I got her picture, and you can tell she's got a lot of attitude. She posed great for the shot. I'm glad it's in color because it picked up the bright yellow on her shirt, and her hair looks great. And it's just one of those shots. I love the attitude that she gave me in this, and I'm pretty sure that this is on Ektar. Let's see. Let's see here. It's Portra. I would have guessed this is Ektar. So it's just because the color is pretty intense. So anyway, um, one of my favorite shots and just happens to be color. The next one I believe I shot on the same day. This is Seth, and super nice guy. Works in the theater in downtown Littleton, and he looks the part, doesn't he? He's got Shakespeare on his T-shirt, etc. This also was a color shot, but I converted it to black and white. So let me show you why I did that. So there it is in color, and here it is in black and white. You can see I've done a few things. One thing is I got rid of this line here. Um, and made the usual kind of adjustments. I'm pretty sure that I put a green filter on this, a green digital filter on this. Um, that would account for the nose turning black, since red and green are complementary. I felt like that looked the best with his skin tone and produced the dimensionality that I like. So I feel like the color was just kind of blah. I don't know about you guys, but that's why I did the conversion. All right, moving on. This is Luis. I include this because I just love the expression. He did a great pose for this. This is another shot where you can kind of see some light leaks coming through. I think that might be one. And just over in this area, you can kind of see a haze. I'm pretty sure that's because of the leaky shutter on my 2000 FCW. Let's make sure that that's the camera I use so we see I'm not lying. Yeah, I shot it with the 2000 FCW. So anyway, great tone, and I think this was Tri-X, am I right? Plus X. Plus X, of which I have one roll left. They don't make it anymore. So that is what Plus X looked like when they made it, and it was a super nice film. I'm sorry they stopped. The other thing I like about this is I managed to frame it in such a way that I think that it is effective, and you got this great creamy bokeh that comes from Hasselblad lenses. I think this is the 150 that I shot this with. Yes, it's the 150. This is Ken. This guy was super, super nice. Had a nice conversation with him. I shot this in really difficult conditions. I don't know how obvious it is, but I did have to work on it. He had a shadow from a branch coming here down his face. You can see it, but I've lightened it quite a bit. The shot itself was in fairly direct sun. You can tell that his shirt is lit pretty strongly. So I had a little bit of blowout in the whites, but I was able to rescue it just fine. Um, so anyway, I just like the look of this shot, and now this shot is on. It was that same day. It looks like that was on Plus X and the 2000 FCW. So that's Ken. This is Victoria, and I saw her down in Washington Park near downtown Denver. And this was a perfect day to shoot. I'll never forget the light on this day. There was just a haze. And so there weren't any super strong shadows. You can see a little shadow here, but not that harsh kind of thing going on. So the lighting was just perfect. It's almost like you had a skybox across, I mean, not a skybox, a soft box across the whole sky. So it made exposures easy to make and so forth, and it doesn't hurt to have a really cute subject. So she, where was she from? Argentina? Yes, she's from Argentina. The funny thing is, she, was the first time I saw her, she was standing with her guitar slung over her shoulder, kind of like you might carry an axe or a shovel or anything you might throw over your gun, whatever. And she was just standing there with a really cool pose. And I wanted to capture her, but I couldn't get myself together in time to get the shot. So then I noticed that hey, this dude is taking pictures of her, so it'll make it really easy for me to ask for a shot. So anyway, I'm glad I stopped to get the shot of her, and this is on Fuji Acros, I believe. Yeah, it's on Acros, which is a really, that film has got a really fine grain and has really nice tonality, and this was developed in Rodinal. All right, this is back to 35 millimeter. This was shot with the Leica R8, and I think the 90 millimeter. Nope, with the 50. Man, I am batting zero today. It is on Acros like the last shot, but it is in 35 millimeter. And one thing that really strikes me about this is the quality uh, of the tones in this image and the grain. I mean, it almost looks medium format. Blown up like this, maybe less so, but we're just looking at it at sort of a normal size on the monitor. It comes off almost like medium format. You can see some of the problems with my scanner here. Uh, it doesn't handle areas of really high density very well, so you get this real grainy kind of look here. So that's a downer, but I don't feel like spending any more money for a 35 millimeter film scanner. Anyway, this is Bob, and he's standing outside an Elks Lodge, and I came up and asked for his portrait, which he was happy to do. Uh, and part of the 100 Strangers project is you're supposed to talk to the person and get to know them a little better. And sadly, he was there because a friend had passed away, so it got a little awkward. And honestly, he kind of cut the conversation off pretty quick once I started asking the questions. And I wasn't prying, at least I didn't feel like I was, but maybe he did, or he just didn't feel like dealing with that on this sad day. So anyway, I just like the quality of the image a lot. It's a nice pose and a friendly looking guy. All right, this is Tyler. This is also on 35 millimeter, and this is also with the R8. And let me guess, is it a 90 or 50? I think it's the 50. Yeah, this is a 50, and this is on Rolei Retro 80S, which is a really great film. I just love it. Um, Tyler was a cool dude. He was heading in to watch a football game at the bar. This is a bar behind him. The bar is painted black, believe it or not. So I got this dude, got a black shirt on, standing on a black background with really black windows, and he's also dark skinned. So it was an interesting exposure. In this kind of situation, what you want to do is use your exposure compensation if you're using, like aperture priority or shutter priority, whichever. You want to use your exposure compensation to reduce the exposure because your meter is going to want to tend to bring the blacks up into medium gray, which is not what you want. You want the real black that was there. All of this talk goes with a video that I've got to do someday on exposure and compensation and how to shoot differently lit subjects with reflective metering versus incident metering. I just can never get around to it. Anyway, super happy with the shot. The guy made a great pose. Love the expression on his face. Just came out well. So that's why I included this one. This is Larry, and he runs one of I think the oldest camera club in the Denver area. And this shot was taken at a camera show that he organizes. I think his wife helps him with that. And he had a huge collection of Exacta cameras and gear at his table. I just liked the expression on his face and the fact that he was happy to pose with. I asked him to pose with his favorite camera and lens combo, and he picked this up. And I think this is a relatively rare lens. I can't remember what it is. Maybe we can get it here. It's a Jena lens. It's a Zeiss Jena, and I can't see what it is there. Anyway, this is a pretty rare telephoto lens on an Exacta body. The shot is on Tri-X, and I believe I shot it at 800. Yeah, and in Rodinal as usual. So that accounts for the grain, but I still think it's a pretty good looking image. Even with the grain. After I took his photo, he asked if I'd be interested in judging photo contest for the club, and I said, "Oh yeah, sure." And gosh, I took this photo in May of 2012, and I just did the judging in October of 2013. So it took a little while for my number to come up. But I've got a story about judging this photo contest that I'll do at some point as a vlog type of thing. This is Terry. This is back to the Hasselblad. This is on Ektar. I'm certain of it this time. This is Ektar. Absolutely. Yeah. Why do I remember? I remember because his skin tone came out pretty red in the photo, and I've done some adjustments to back that off. So this was the Hasselblad on Ektar, and this is his beautiful dog Gabby, a real sweet dog. It's interesting. I have taken pictures of this truck on different occasions, and I did today as well. It's just a cool old Chevy truck. But I saw him wandering around out here, asked if, I guess it was his truck actually, and asked if he would mind posing with it, and told him about the project. And he did so. So you just got to love the quality of Ektar or Portra film shot through a Zeiss lens on a Hasselblad. It just looks so real. He looks like you could reach out and touch him, or you could reach out and pet the dog. I just love the sort of the character that this shot has in terms of its color and the 3D look of it. This is Steve, and this is a digital shot. That's the only one I think I've included in this series, or the last one. I took this with the Sony A900, and I included just because, I mean, you gotta love the infectious smile on Steve's face. And as it turns out, he was a photographer, so we had a really nice chat. I saw him walking around with a big Canon. I'm pretty sure it was a Canon setup. Had a big old white Canon L lens on it, that sort of thing. And he was doing some portrait shooting. So kind of ran into him later. I was walking around downtown Littleton, and I ran into him later and struck up a conversation and asked if I could take his portrait. So as I said, this was on the A900, and this is taken with a beautiful Sigma 85 f1.4, which is just a phenomenal lens. You know, Sigma has a pretty variable quality, but I've had really good fortune with the two Sigma lenses I've had. The other was a 150 millimeter macro for Canon. It was a really good lens. This 85 1.4 is really great, and I mean, just look how knocked out the background is. You know, his face is in focus, but even his strap is out of focus. You got to love that kind of shallow depth of field in the 35 millimeter format. So I included this one just for fun. I like his expression, and I wanted to show that yes, I do shoot digital now and then. So that wraps it up for my selected 100 strangers photos. I need to shoot more before I can show more. I'm kind of stalled at 61 or 62, whatever I'm sitting at. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later.